Hi boys and girls, it's me Butch. My name is Terry David Silvercloud. I'm not native, just sounds that way. I'm 81 years old and today I believe is the 26th of January 2026. So today I want to talk to you about the Butch theory of gravity. Theories are ideas that have not been proven. We have a lot of them, like Big Bang Theory, which Butch considers ridiculous, is a theory and has recently been shown to be ridiculous. I don't have time for that. A real scientist follows what we call the scientific method, and that requires a whole bunch of things I'm not going to waste time talking about. But if you do not follow that method, then your work is still crap until you follow that method. And then other serious scientists will have a listen. They may not believe you, but they'll have a listen. And if you can keep proving what you're saying, you'll eventually establish a law about what you are saying. So like Newton did a whole lot of experiments and he came up with his laws of gravity, but they don't explain gravity. They tell us a whole lot of things about something, like it would tell you like the paint is white or red and why the paint is white or red, but it might not explain how you actually make the paint. That's not maybe the best analogy, but I'm trying to show you that you have to be able to prove something over and over and over and over and over ad nauseum in order for the other nerds to believe you. So what I'm going to tell you is all Butch theory. It's all based on my idea of how the universe works. So there's, Butch says the universe is infinite. So that leads to, I have an itchy back, that leads to a couple of ways you could look at it. The universe could be frozen solid with something like ice, and what we see out there, and in spite of how big we think it is, it might just be a hole within a bigger block. And that would mean there could be thousands or millions or billions, because we're talking about infinity here, just beyond imagination holes, and each hole could hold what we're already thinking is one hole. The other more realistic option is just to assume, like Heisenberg, how Heisenberg started inventing quantum physics, is what we see should match with what we measure. Heisenberg, with hay fever, took a break from his boss, Max Born, and he was questioning why the Bohr model numbers didn't match up with the numbers. And when he showed Born, when he got back his numbers, he said, "Oh, this looks like matrix math." And they called in his friend who invented matrix math, and together they invented matrix mechanics, which we call quantum physics. So let's not go on with that, except to say, like, I'm sort of a nobody, and Heisenberg was sort of he had more education in proper physics, I guess, than I do, but he was basically a student. A lot of amateurs come up with the best answers because they gather together what knowledge they can, and they come from a different background than some of the scientists, and they see things from a different angle or a different light or something. And I'm a photographer. I'm old, and I've been into physics and electronics my entire life, since I was about 10 years old. I taught myself how, back in the olden days, we had what were called TV sets. I taught myself how they worked and how radios worked and stuff like that when I was like 12, 13, 14. So Butch's theory is that the universe is infinite, it goes forever, and that it is composed of an elemental unit he is going to call a tachyon. And look, oh, there's my tachyons. So it is composed of right spinning and left spinning tachyons, the white and the black ball. One spins to the right and one spins to the left. And they can save energy by just resting their feet together, and they'll both think they're spinning in the right direction but they're saving energy, which seems to be like they're glued together. And they are sort of. So compared to, if they are magnets, the outside magnetic energies are in fact pushing them together. So that view of gravity of push is where that sort of comes from. What I'm trying to say to you is we're not being attracted to something, we're being pushed into it everywhere. And that's because the universe is wall-to-wall tachyons. There's no such thing as empty space anywhere, like nothingness. Nothingness is just a delusional idea. And the universe is, the smallest bits are so tiny and moving at such an extraordinarily fast speed that to somebody who's bigger and moving at what they think is normal speed, but to a tachyon is like centuries and centuries and centuries, everything can flow. So the flow is happening, and we think it's normal at our speed, but the tachyons are, for them, moving at tachyon speed, which is faster than the speed of light, which Butch says, back up here, dear, up here. What are you looking at? My tracking device seems to want to look further down. There you go. So, Butch says that the electron is composed of at least two tachyons they're chasing each other, and they're doing it at tachyon speed, which must be faster than the speed of light. If the volume of a sphere, where the radius is 1 tachyon, then you can take 4/3 pi r cubed, the formula for a sphere, and insert a tachyon diameter for the radius, and that means it takes 2 tachyons to make a diameter, and therefore 2 tachyons moving at 4/3 pi. I'm going to use the speed of light here because it's easier. The speed of light in half cubed. They can be here and there at the same time. You think they're forming a sphere, but they're just so much faster than from the one side of the electrons to the other. You can't notice the difference. You wouldn't notice any dips or curves because they're happening hundreds of times faster than you could possibly observe them, because your eyes work with electrons and they work at electron speeds, which is the speed of light. And Butch is telling you the speed of light is set by two things. What? The diameter of the electron and its half circumference. So if this black tachyon wants to get from here to there at the speed of light, because the electron is the speed of light, it will get there, and it can't get there, but the electron is turning, setting the speed of light, and the tachyon doesn't have to do anything more than simply roll at the speed of light to the other side and go on its way. The other way it could get there at the speed of light is if the tachyon got a whole bunch of its buddies, thousands of them. My neighbor's coming in, he'll probably wave to me. I'm looking out a window there. I have a great next door neighbor, a 33-year-old professional soccer player who's a coach now. So if enough tachyons are pushing the electron, they could push the electron one diameter, and that also is the speed of light. So what Butch is telling you is the difference between up here and the plane of the electron, that distance, that is the pressure moving the universe. It is the pressure of the electron holding the tachyons, and it's pushing outwards. The electron wants to move. If it gets more energy, it has to spin faster and faster, and it needs room to wobble. And with alternating current, it really needs room to wobble. With direct current, it's spinning, but it's also sort of drifting through the wire. It's not traveling at the speed of light. The speed of light is happening, the energy, the tachyons, the electricity is, Butch is telling you, the electricity, the electrons indeed are moving, but the electricity is the energy of the tachyons trying to get from here to there. And if it's direct current, they will be pushing the electron, but a whole crap load of them will also be rotating, and they always do it at the same speed based on their physical size, so our measurements won't change, everything will be fine. But what you've got to get used to is Butch is telling you that the electron physical size, this is all theory, Butch is right. If you want to write a thesis, start thinking about all this. I don't want the video to get really long, so I'm going to shut up really quick. So if you like this video, maybe give me a like. I'm trying to get this channel rolling, mostly about my science ideas, but I'm a queer man, and I don't want to get into dwelling too much on gay stuff. It got me troubles at times, but I am a queer man, and thank you for visiting, and Butch is going to say bye-bye. So that's it for this video. If you like it, please give me a like, and if you dislike it, tell me why. I'm just a old queer man who's in love with physics, and I wrote a book, The Shape of God, where I had to start thinking about things I just really had never really thought about before, and realized that we don't have all the answers, and I worked out my own. And that's it. So bye-bye from Butch.